What's up, everybody?
Refresh.
Yeah, go in
Let's
it.
make sure. There we go. And we're live. There we go.
Live, ba-bam.
What's up, Brandon? Geek Girl. Hey,
Sup,
K-Dub's in
buddy?
chat.
Hey, K-Dub's in chat.
That
What's up?
K-Dub, that Mystic
Fuck.
Rose.
Zero Mystic. What's up, everybody? What's going on? We have lots and stuff to discuss, and sorry if I sound nasally. My allergies are driving me crazy. What's up, Omega Impulse? What's going on?
Shawnee, you sound all nasally. Do you need something?
Yeah, I got a
post-nasal drip.
I got a full box of tissues. I got my nose spray right here.
You got that drainage.
Which is just like a saline type spray that helps clear your passages.
Oh, you gotta use it.
Have
Have you ever tried the neti pot, Sean?
What is that?
The neti pot, they call it, where you put the it's basically a sinus rinse.
Oh,
you put,
you stick that thing in it.
One nostril just flushes it out the other side.
I saw a commercial for it. Hey, Gator Mag. Yeah, I saw the commercial for it, and like Beverly and I were watching it, and Beverly was like, "That looks disgusting." It does.
Jason Crothers, first time live. Welcome.
I have so many people, man, that come in the pharmacy and love that stuff. They even make the ones that are like, where you actually put it in, like automatically forces it and sucks it out the other one. You just put it on. It's these two little like things, and they go in your nose and just like flush it all out. But
I bet it works, right?
Oh, it does, man. I mean, people say the first time you do it, they say the crap that comes out is just nasty. But you feel like you're drowning because you're literally just pouring like a pint of water up your nose. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Robert.
This is how we're starting. This
is how we're starting it. That's how we're starting. It's that time of year, Kata. People are getting sick, man. Getting sick. But what's up, chat? Thank you guys here for tuning in. We got a good one in store for you tonight. Definitely, like Sean said, lots to talk about. We have the TWAB. We have a little Activision earnings call.
That's going to be a good debate right there.
No doubt. So, all right. You guys ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Guardian Radio episode 275. Let's go.
Let's go it.
Yeah. We're going it. Which, by the way, so whoever put that in the chat, I like that. What did they say? It was like, you going it or something? What did they say?
Doing it. Yep.
Kata put
Get
you
your goo ready.
Get your goo ready or something. Yeah. Awesome. So here we go, guys. Guardian Radio episode 275. Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. I am your host, Mark Turcotte, and joining me this week, as always, from the Dub Den, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, dude?
What's up, boys? So, first thing I want to say, a little somber note, and then I'll switch it up. But Rip Stan Lee.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude.
You know,
I wore my Marvel shirt in honor tonight.
I know, and it's thank you to Stan Lee for creating all the characters that kept me entertained all through my youth. You are the greatest, and so Rip Stan Lee. But outside of that, and I'll talk a little bit about my horror story.
We need to talk about your horror story, dude.
No pun intended.
Your horror story, please get up.
But all right, so glad to be here. We're going to be having a fun one tonight, so let's do it.
And of course, that other voice there from the heart of Queens, our king of Queens, Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Back from vacation. Went to Miami for a couple of days. I'm a little nasally right now. I can't tell if it's allergies or I'm so sorry if I sound a little nasally or I mute my mic to go blow my nose or whatever. But great vacation. Ready to get back to the grind and lots of stuff to talk about tonight, especially in particular the Activision earnings call, which people could read it one way or they could read it another way. But we'll read it.
We'll tell you the right way to read it, right, Sean?
That's right.
The Guardian Radio way. Yep.
That's right. But what's up, everybody here? Thank you, as always, here for tuning into the show. We appreciate you guys joining us. Big what's up to everybody over on YouTube, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. We do the show live every Monday night over there, either at 9:30 or 10. So make sure you're following us on Twitter at Guardians of D. It's the best way to keep in touch with us and know when we are going live. And also email us, feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. We got some great emails this week from everybody. Thank you so much for doing that. And I want to give a big thank you, too, here at the top of the show to all our patrons over for our Podbean patron campaign. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. Check your inboxes. EBD should be there. If you're not familiar with that and you want to help support the show, you can do so. EBD is our Everything But Destiny podcast. We put out this every month exclusive to patrons. And if you want to become one of those, you can find it at our website, guardiansofdestiny.com, or down in our show notes. $5 gets you access to the podcast, and $7 gets you the podcast as well as the video version. And of course, all of that helps keep the podcast rolling and gets us to Guardian Con every year, guys, which we're still in the early stages of planning.
O-Town this year.
It's going down in Orlando. So thank you again to all of you for helping support us. Continued. And again, if you want to be a supporter, you can find the link in our show notes. One other quick thing, like Caleb said, very somber today with the passing of Stan Lee. Stan Lee was someone in my life who pretty much, when I look back at just all the characters and everything in my life that I read as a child and even cartoons that I've watched, movies that I watched, I mean, his hands were all over all of that. So, like we said here at the top of the show, rest in peace, Stan Lee. We will celebrate you here, continuing on. And many people I know, I'm sure in the coming weeks, some of the content that's going to come out is just going to be amazing. And it's all because of Stan Lee. So thank you so much to him. And again, we send our regards to his family and, to everybody out there who appreciated his work.
For sure.
But all right. Well, before we move on to news, I want to talk about a little horror story that happened for Senor K-Dub last week. And I want to preface this by saying I was watching every minute of it, K-Dub. On that day when that reset was coming, I kept logging into that Destiny app to see, is he going to do another run? Oh, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? Caleb, tell everybody what happened.
So I had like 4 runs that I still had left to do, and I had it timed out. It takes about 20 minutes to run through the Infinite Forest, including load times and whatnot.
And it pauses every time you finish a boss, so that's a thing.
Correct.
Depending on how good you're doing,
right,
you can really...
it's a 15-minute timer, but it takes about 20 minutes with load times and pausing and everything else. So I had it all timed out. It's fine. So I'm on my last run because I work, man. I'm busy. I've got a successful mortgage business going on. I come home, I get it home in time, but I got plenty of time. Eat something, get on. Okay, boom. Let's do my runs. I'm doing my runs as I'm on the last run. Step 2 to Master Ives quest pops up. I'm like, why did that just pop up right now? It's only 12:45 or whatever it was. Resets at 1. No. Daylight savings just screwed you.
Yeah.
Resets at noon. And I did not realize, and I didn't see their tweet that resets at noon, and all of my 116 fractured souls, poof, were gone out of my inventory.
That's
and
a
I
buzz
did not
kill.
Get my horror story because of daylight savings time.
In the very honorable and famous words of Time Splitter, he says, "Kids, this is why you never leave things to the last minute."
Kids, well, the problem with that statement is it's kids. See, I'm not a kid. I'm a dad with 5 kids and a freaking job.
But
all right?
you had 3 weeks, man. But I was cracking up, dude. That was like one of the funniest things. And you were just raging, like all mad, like, man, what is?
I felt so bad when you you were texting us too. Like, wait, why did they? Because at first you're like, why did they disappear?
Right.
And then we were like, dude, reset was just now at 12. And you were like, wait, they changed it? And we were like,
daylight savings time. It's because they're on the West Coast. And I'm on the East Coast. We had daylight savings time. There's even a vote. They're trying to get daylight savings time repealed here in Florida so that we don't have to do it. It didn't pass yet, obviously, because we just moved our clocks back. But daylight savings time screwed me from a horror story.
Oh my god!
It's all right. I mean, honestly, the gun isn't that great. I mean, what sucks is the 600 drop.
It's just it's 600.
That's what
right.
sucks.
That's silly.
But,
just take your origin story and make it 600 if you have something to infuse if you want to.
I keep seeing people saying procrastination. It's not procrastination, you guys. I turned on my PS4 once last week.
Yeah,
I had to do the update. I have stuff to do, man. I don't get to just hang out. You know what I mean?
Oh. But it had me cracking up, man. So you had your own horror story. That gun has lived up to its name and Caleb's name, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But all right, well, let's move on here, guys, to our news segment that we call Dispatches from the Traveler. All right, well, before we dive into the Activision earnings call, we got some updates and things happening here in the TWAB that was coming up this week. And actually, the first thing was how they were firing up the Twitch studio. And today, actually, they did the Gambit run. Did you get a chance to see this? I actually was working, so I didn't get a chance to see it all.
Working.
I was out all day today. No, but they did drop it in. I saw on Twitter that they said there will be a pinnacle weapon for Gambit in the next season. That would be the equivalent, or not equivalent of, kind of like a similar weapon to grinding for the broadsword or something like that.
Right, Luna's Howl, right?
Yeah.
But I think the more important one is going to be the next one, which is on the 19th of November, next week. The Last Wish raid along. That one's going to be really.
Those
awesome.
are always great. Yeah,
that one I
will not miss. That one I will not miss.
Yeah, it's always great just hearing them talk about each encounter and just kind of the mindset that went into it. I always love just trying to pick their brains or just kind of hear them talk out loud about the fine line between something being difficult and like not too easy. You know, like what ideas did they have for certain encounters that maybe would have been too hard for them, or why did they make this certain decision because they didn't want it to be too easy for people just to burn through. I think all that's always very interesting. If you've never seen any of the raid-alongs, I mean, I would almost urge you to go back and check out like the Crota's one, or they did what? They did I think they did a Vault of Glass, they did a Crota. I don't know, did they do them all? I almost want to say they didn't do Wrath of the Machine. They may have. Someone can probably
did they do King's Fall? I don't know, maybe chat can help us out with that.
I think they did. I want to say they did do a King's Fall one, but if you've never seen them, they're awesome. I mean, it's great to hear them just kind of give some insight.
Any of the ride-alongs, they used to do the Destination ride-alongs too.
Yep.
I'd love to see them do some of those where they kind of talk about how how it all came to light, from like literally from whiteboarding things to the initial sketches, what kind of vibe they want to go for, you know, which areas where things are happening, which areas are just kind of for looks and exploring around and, you know, have things hidden there and all that sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
really
cool. Craig Hargrove, who was here on the show, one of our early co-hosts here on the show for the longest time, who worked for NASA, he basically helped them by going out to the studio, design Mars in Destiny 1.
Right.
So
wow.
he was all on that ride-along back then, talking
and how
about
they should layer and all that, right.
Very, very
Put
cool.
lots of sand on Mars.
Rocks.
And caves lead to adventure.
That's right. For those old Guardian Radio and hell, even old Destiny fans, when the original Destiny 1 came out, actually I have it in the other room.
By the way, Craig sent me some of these to give away.
Sweet.
By the way. So we've got some stickers.
There was a Newsweek, a special edition Newsweek that came out when Destiny 1 launched, and in there was a quote from Craig, and it just said like, what was it, like, if you see a cave, follow it because caves lead to adventure. Sadly,
and that was
Destiny
before
1.
Lost Sectors, mind you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're talking Destiny 1 here. No, you know what it was? They don't lead to adventures; they lead to loot, as in the loot cave.
Chest
the loot cave is what they led to. Yeah. That's how they found loot cave. Everybody took Craig's advice and just shot thralls in the things. But listen, we also have some performance improvements coming up, and this one, to me, I'm sorry, this is one of the best updates possibly coming to the game, probably all year long, and that is the loading time.
Yes,
they're being improved. I mean, this is huge. This is engineer Ben Thompson. He says they've been paying close attention to reports of long load times on consoles, and they're working on improvements. Now, if you ever played on PC, which we urge many of you, go check out the Destiny 2.
It's free right now until the 18th.
Until the 18th, 6 more days. Yeah.
When you play on PC and then you jump back to console, it is such a drastic difference in loading. Loading is horrendous on the console. I mean, so much so that he even admits what he says at one point, that it might even be less than a minute. Right now it's like 2 minutes loading into the EDZ.
To make it less than a minute.
It's basically 2 minutes right now loading into the EDZ, so it should go down to 1 minute.
But that's not even the worst.
Insane.
The worst is when you literally turn the game on, getting to your character screen.
Yeah.
Getting to your character screen. Now, there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks on Twitter about how you can affect that. If you load your game onto like a solid state drive,
an SSD drive,
and connect that SSD to your console, the load times are like bam. Again, that's a little bit, something you got to know and do, and it costs some money, and SSDs aren't exactly cheap. They're cheaper now than they were, but that's a workaround that you can use. But it's good that they're, doing this, and they talk about, it's funny, them talking about why this has come to fruition and why it's longer now. It's because of all of the new stuff that they keep giving us and the patches that they're putting in, that it takes more time to load all of that stuff because of all the new stuff that they're giving us. So it's a good thing, but at the same token, we got to wait, so they're going to work on it. So
a big thing I found with performance issues, because I was having a lot of stuttering and like lag on the screen when too much was going on in the blind well or in a strike part or whatever. But I found, because I used to always leave my PS4 Pro on rest, right? Mm-hmm. And I found out from always either restarting it or always shutting it down fully, that helped immensely with that kind of, stuttering, laggy kind of thing where it's like everything just starts to go really slow when there's too much action on the screen. So if you're one of those folks that likes to leave it on rest like me, I like leaving it on rest because then I wake up and then it's an update or a hot fix or a patch is just automatically download. But I found that restarting it really makes a difference, especially with Destiny 2 right now. So.
Yeah, and I mean, even not even just the loading into the zones, or like, we said in the very beginning, just getting to, you're loading and you pull up your inventory. Just that alone is even frustrating. So hopefully this will be able to change a lot of that.
And not only that, everybody's encountered the thing where you're busting it through on your Sparrow to get to the next thing,
and it pauses,
and it's like loading. And you're like stuck in mid screen, right?
Totally.
So that's something that they're gonna that's something they're gonna address. And the one that's always been a thorn in my side going back to D1, and it's funny, Sharks and those guys used to laugh at me because I was always, so anytime that you're traveling somewhere, I would always pull up my character screen and I'm maybe messing with my loadout, or I'm messing with whatever I'm doing, messing with a shader. And then so when you're traveling or you're going, let's say you're going to go land at the tower, you're going to a zone, like the things won't load on your character because it's like too much for it to think about. You ever notice that? So that's one of the things that bugs the heck out of me. And then number two, let's say I'm making a change in my loadout. When you land into the zone that you're going to, or into the place that you're going, it takes you out of your menu and throws you into you just landed. And I'm like, stop it, man. I know where I'm going to land in a safe zone. You don't need to pull me out of that because I'm not worried about getting shot. I'm landing somewhere. I'm going to be safe. Don't take me out of the UI. I want to be in here because I'm doing stuff. And then I got to go back in, and then I got to reload it. And then it's just one of those things. And I was always pissed. I'm like, leave me alone. But it just these things are all going to be good fixes. Hopefully it helps out. So.
Definitely. Let's see, we got some super tuning that is coming to the game, more specifically with the Hunter class. And Claude, our good buddy Claude Jerome, he's a sandbox designer for the game. He is the guy that I've always said on the show is awesome, and he's really just the guy that makes the supers in the game. And so some of the things that they're looking at is the spectral blades. He says that they were heavily retuned to increase the reliability of melee attacks in PvP and to bolster the effectiveness of the super's stealth capabilities. So the following changes are what are coming. They're going to increase the melee lunge range of all the attacks. They're going to reduce the cost of light melee attacks.
Wait, does that mean that my Warlock T-Rex arms that aren't so short anymore,
I don't know.
They're longer than they used to be,
are
they going to be even longer now, or is it going to go back to now the Warlocks get to go back to?
I don't know, Sean. Do you know if this is
this is just for Night Stalker for the Spectral Blade Super? Because one of the reasons, mine's. I went on to look at mine today when I did my news video this morning. Mine's not even fully leveled up yet because I don't use it, And one thing I noticed is that you have to get close. The thing is all about blading things, And I notice right now you have to get close, and you're going to cover this in a second, Mark. And there is issues when trying to target multiple targets, or it having to figure out which one are you focused on in PvE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really even use it because I'm using tether with Orpheus Rig, or I'm going way 1,000 cuts. But.
Right. So. Let's see. This is also going to reduce the cost of light melee attacks, increase the number of consecutive hits required to speed up the attack rate, and decrease the base attack speed to improve hit registration on intended targets. And part of that, too, do we have that in here where he's talking about they want it to be more active with the stick input?
Yeah, they said
in the next part.
It's clarification. You mean the decreasing base attack speed to improve hit registration on intended targets. He said this is not intended as a nerf. The goal here is to increase the intentionality of the attack rate increase so that it is most often happening when players are focusing on a single target. That's more kind of PvP related.
Right. And here it is. He says they retune the melee targeting to have greater emphasis on player input. So where your stick input is directed toward, or which target your camera is facing. Yep. So, I personally, I don't really play the Night Stalker, so I don't really, this doesn't really affect me. I was reading this like, okay, that sounds great. Good for hunters. Sean, I mean, I know definitely played it. You actually kind of main that in Gambit, don't you?
Well, thing is, everybody knows this now. I'm not getting exotic armor because I'm too addicted to playing Gambit. As soon as I log in, I want to play Gambit, and even more so that I'm solo all the time because to me now it makes the win that much more. It feels great afterwards. But I'm too used to using Orpheus Rig. This might be a good super for clearing ads in Gambit, of course. Depending on what exotic you run with. I don't even know it because I don't have one piece of exotic Forsaken armor. But is there an exotic that extends your super energy when you're cutting things up? Because if so, this would be a great ad clearing super.
Right,
but
definitely.
If I don't know that, I'm just going to be using my tether because especially when the Primeval spawns in, I want those lieutenants tethered and I want my super energy back to whatchamacallit, to have it ready for the next round.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep. And this is going to be great too, for when you go stealth as well too, because it's also going to increase the viability of the stealth mechanics. So they're adding a small amount of damage resistance when you're in stealth, and it's going to further decrease the super drain when in that stealth state. So basically, you can be more stealthy and not take as much damage, and then just cut dudes up. So
spice them up.
I think if you're a hunter, I think it's going to be pretty good. Seems like it's going to be a pretty good update.
And this next part, Sean's going to have fun with.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Warlocks here for Chaos Reach. It says they're tuning the energy cost of deactivating it early. So the intent of the tuning is to make it more rewarding to skillfully time your early deactivation when using the super. So essentially, it'll be more punishing to deactivate the Chaos Reach super extremely early, but less punishing when deactivating later in the super. So for me, when I looked at this, it was like, hey, it's really going to put somewhat of a skill gap on that. And if you can get the skill to turn that thing off and turn it back on at the right time, man.
And I remember Sean's very first video when you came back from Bungie about this super, and you were saying how short it was, but you have to have a certain piece of armor.
Geomag stabilizers.
The Geomags for it to, so talk about how this is going to affect people.
Well, I mean, like, I love the super, but I never use it because I don't have the Geomag stabilizers. And one thing you realize that, you press super and then you could press it again to deactivate it. Right now, if you deactivate it too early, you think, like, right away you want to deactivate it early because you think you should, but you really shouldn't. You
Why?
know what I mean? So, because I find that whenever I do that, I just end up losing the super for some reason. I don't know if it's, and I haven't used it in a very long time because I'm too addicted to Well of Radiance, But I think with this and having, I'm waiting to get Geomag stabilizers, of course. But I think that with using Geomag stabilizers and, you could really lengthen this super with having Geomag stabilizers and, like, I'll probably have to do some testing. I'll probably do a review of this once they put the patch through, but see exactly where's the sweet spot to do the quick deactivation to see, because the Geomags will let you do more, make the super last longer when doing damage to something, right? So if you're landing to a boss or something. So I will have to play around with this thing, but it will be interesting to see this coupled with that exotic and see how it turns out.
My thought on this was, why not? You shouldn't penalize somebody for deactivating earlier. It seems like if you deactivate it early, you didn't use all of your super, you should get to keep some of your super energy for their next super. You know what I'm saying? There's like right now, there's a way that you can almost have infinite supers with the Void Titan, with certain, with the certain gauntlets. But with this, it seems like, okay, boom, you pop your super and you have X amount of time. As it goes down, let's say it gets to half and you deactivate it. I'm not saying you should still have half, up to your next super, but it should reserve you didn't use all of your super, leave some of that super energy in your bar.
I think that's what it does, Caleb. I think what they're doing is people were able to quickly do it real fast because it says it's going to punish you by deactivating it extremely early. So people were able to just go like real fast and like basically get a kill, and they were deactivating it too fast. So it was like now you have to have it on just a little bit. So it's basically forcing you to use a little bit more, but then you still can save enough there. I think it's essentially.
I mean, I haven't used it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty sure that's kind of what the whole point of this was.
Right.
But again, something else. I mean, to hear them out there just fine tuning and who knows, this may possibly change the meta, especially even in like PvP and things like that. So I think it's interesting. Let's see. Let's take our first sponsor here, and that's Loot Gaming. That's right, Loot Gaming, our good friends over there, is a monthly subscription box delivered direct to your door with exclusive pop culture collectibles, apparel, and gear. Loot Gaming curates and designs everything themselves, and remember, you can't find these items anywhere else, no matter what you geek about. This is for you. Now, Loot Gaming, if you remember, they're the ones that made that very cool Destiny box that came out a while ago. We gave away one of those actually at Guardian Con. I had that real cool hoodie in it with the interchangeable class patches. They sent me one recently that had a metal Sonic figure in it. Also had a Spider-Man PS4 shirt in it that had it was kind of the rock and roll suit of Spider-Man that was in there. So talking about Stan Lee created Spider-Man, so there you go. They had a really neat exclusive t-shirt you could only get in that box. They've sold over 30 million of these crates, and this month's theme is awesome. It's going to be Victory Comes at the Edge of a Blade. They say face your enemies with razor-sharp gear from God of War, The Elder Scrolls, Kingdom Hearts, and Assassin's Creed. So this thing is going to include curated, exclusive items only available in this box. We don't know what they're going to be.
You have to think next month's going to be something Marvel related.
Marvel,
don't you?
yeah.
You have to.
Well,
than
that's
likely,
the thing, man. They have over 16 other crates. So they have their classic pop culture crate, as well as other gaming specific crates, including Fallout and Halo. So, who knows? I mean, maybe that will be. Maybe Marvel will be in there to some extent. Or maybe a Stan Lee box may be coming. We don't know.
Right.
But if you want to get it on this, you go to lootcrate.com/Guardian, use our code Guardian, and get yourself 30% off that today. If you're interested in the Blade box, which, again, I highly recommend it. One of the best parts about Loot Crate is it's almost like your birthday every time one of these things comes in, because even though we're talking about Marvel being in there, you never know what's going to be in these boxes, and that's the coolest thing about it. But you have until the end of this week, because this crate is guaranteed to sell out. Again, go to lootcrate.com/Guardian, use our code Guardian, and save yourself 30% off. You get over $60 of value in each crate for less than $29 a month, so you cannot lose. So lootcrate.com/Guardian, use our code Guardian, get yourself 30% off today, and that link will be down in our show notes as well as the code. So be sure to check it out there if you're interested. Let's talk about some raid checkpoints, guys. Something interesting happening there.
Yes.
So the user interface tester, Tony Garcia.
Yeah.
He says, we're currently looking to add reset functionality to checkpoints in various activities, like the Last Wish raid, which didn't we have those? I mean, we had them, didn't we, in the original
In
Destiny?
D1. Mm-hmm.
Right, where you could go back and basically, if you were at a certain point, you could just start
yeah.
fresh.
Not
Right
only
now,
that, not only that, we used to, when the reset came, we'd leave somebody in there. You remember that?
Yeah.
You'd leave somebody in there at the reset.
Right at reset at 5
When
a.m.
the reset came, somebody else would join them, the other person would leave, and then you had the other point again. Right, absolutely.
So as of right now, it's not there to reset it, but hey, at least this is something they're looking at. It says they don't have a specific timeline for when it will be added, but we just wanted to put it in there that it is under investigation. So I think that's something that people that raid a lot, and even hell, if you're in a clan and maybe you have one or two raid leaders who raid with multiple people, this is something that they're often needing to do. Is go through that, and even running multiple characters and all that, being able to reset the raid checkpoints. Is definitely a nice quality of life thing that I think most of us miss. I think that was in the original Destiny.
Let's see. It goes to like me in particular. Nowadays, I haven't had as much time to play as I would like. Having those checkpoints is huge. If I only get to a certain point, and then I want to be able to come back later, or if somebody has a checkpoint and I want to do that, then I can join for a certain part of it. Absolutely, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I see Timesplitter says, not sure why they took them out. I think it was just probably one of the last things on their minds. It was just kind of. I'm sure maybe the raid team was thinking about it, but they were just so focused on getting the raid out there that this was something that just kind of slipped by.
Yeah.
And if anything was going to slip by, I mean, this was a good
thing.
It's just
to
more
memory. It's just more memory.
Yeah. So, but at least they're acknowledging it now, and they will be getting back to it. Let's see, we did mention, and they put it here in the TWAB, Destiny 2 is still free on PC all the way through November 18th, so you have just a little bit longer to do that. We've talked about it before.
Real quick, folks, if you're on the fence about it, even if you have a PC but you don't plan on using it or you don't think you're going to play Destiny 2, download it anyway because it's free. You know what I mean? And you own it, you have a copy of it. Mm-hmm. Then if you're like a year from now, like, oh, you know what? Wait a second. I want to play Destiny on PC.
Then you just buy the DLC.
Then you just buy the DLC, and by then everything will probably be discounted by then. Right. So that's what I would do right now.
Sean, even if you have a Mac, you're not even going to be able to run this on your Mac. Just download BattleNet and log in and grab the game, and it's yours. It's free.
I have a Windows laptop. Should I do it on there?
Literally all you got to do is you download. You basically just need to create your account, and even when you buy it in the store, it brings you to the website, and then you
just go to
Battle.net. Battle.net. Yeah, Battle.net.
Battle.net.
Yep, you'll find it on there. I mean, hell, I've bought StarCraft 2 when it first came out, so of course it's on my account. But I have all these other like Blizzard games linked on my account that I don't even play, but they're games that I've just kind of accrued throughout the years. And I mean, hell, I even like Humble Bundle comes out, and you can pay like $4, you get like 7 or 8 PC games that I probably will never play, but someday I might. So it's like, why not? So that's why in this case it's free, guys. Get it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think we'll talk a little bit too, maybe as to why that is the case, why they put this out there free, but we'll get to that here in the next few minutes.
Doesn't have anything to do with earnings, does it?
Nah, I don't know, man. We can't really earn anything if something's free, can you? Fortnite.
Well,
let's see. Iron Banner is returning for the final time here in Season 4, and it will be dropping November 27th. You have a limited number of weeks, of course, to complete all the following objectives in there. I'm sorry. I said the 27th. Season 4 is ending November 27th. Right. Iron Banner starting tomorrow as
Banner
tomorrow, 11/13, and going all the way through 11/20. And so that's your last chance to grab all that Season 4 loot and all those things that I keep saying Season 4, to grab all the things that we're in Season 4, right? Grab
we're in Season 4 now. It's ending.
All the things in Season 4 that you want from Iron Banner. And get all those good wolf weapons and all that stuff.
We don't know the curated weapons he's bringing with him this time, but folks, he usually brings 2 bounties that will give you the 2 curated weapons, and the curated weapons are Tier 10 masterwork, usually with the best perks in them. So
and all the bounties now are powerful gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, you get from him as well.
All of them. Yep.
And I think one of the biggest things of this Iron Banner isn't necessarily that Iron Banner's returning, but it's them saying the end of Season 4, which is currently set for November 27th. So we know that's ending then. So the question is, we know Black Armory's coming next. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think, are we going to take a week off like we did between year 1 of Destiny 2 and Forsaken and then fire it up that following week? Or is it actually going to kick off?
I would be surprised. We always get some sort of preview. They always do some sort of teaser, some sort of preview, some sort of something. Always.
I think December 4th we get Black Armory. Yeah. We should be seeing something. Probably within the next week or two. Probably within the next week. I'm
not saying Black Armory itself. We know the dates of Black Armory.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do we, Kato? Do you think it's November 27th or December 4th? No. Is my question. That's more the first question.
December 4th. I think we're getting the actual DLC.
I think we are too. I think we're going to take a week off and then get it.
Yep. Okay, Doug, do you think it's going to be the 4th?
No, I don't, man. I think we're going to get some sort. I don't know.
When's it dropping, Caleb? That's the question. November 27th. Well,
someone pointed out once that there's some sort of exclusive that PSN has that Xbox doesn't, and December 4th Xbox gets it. Maybe time.
What's the point of waiting? What's the point of taking a week off? So we all just do nothing in the game?
No. Well, what it is it's the same thing we did between year 1 and Forsaken. Was they push out the balance patch, so everything we just talked about pushes out that week. You get to play around with it. They make sure everything's fine, and then they push the DLC out.
Yeah.
Don't they just do the update, do the patch, and everything all at once on that?
They didn't do it. They didn't do it with Forsaken. They took a week off.
Yeah. Well, Forsaken was a little bit of a bigger deal. This is a DLC, which just, I don't know.
Even Warmind, I think they did the same too. I think we had a drop, waited a week, and then
it just doesn't make sense to me to wait a week, unless there's something that they're giving us that's a tease. Maybe that's the week that they give us a little thing, maybe mission or something that we do in that week.
I hope they do that.
I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense to me. There's got to be something. That week can't just be a dead lull. It can't be.
Well, no. Listen, there's always weekly activities to do every single week. But I mean, like, it's just what? So we're not going to have either Iron Banner or whatever. I think we're reading in too much into the whole season thing, I think.
Right.
December 4th, I'm saying that's got to be when the DLC is going to
I'm with you too, Sean. That is in that fine print.
They say
I think the
in
DLC
the actual
is 12/4. I think there's going to be something new to do in that week between. Okay. There's going to be something they're going to give us.
I agree. I think so. I think you're
right. What if the Thunderlord quest brings us all? I mean, I hope it doesn't. But what if it brings us all the way out to the week before? Because they're returning heavy machine guns with Black Armory in the roadmap. So Thunderlord is our first heavy machine gun exotic brought into Destiny 2 in year 2. So I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating here.
What we didn't even talk about it here yet on the show. What did you guys think of the step 2? Having to do
it's amazing. 4 lost sectors? Come on.
Well, first one it was 3, and then you're like, oh, that's it. Oh, don't you think so? You get one more to do, buddy. You got 4 lost sectors.
I think they're playing with us, man. I think they're purposely doing this. So everyone is like, dude, I'm bored. This sucks. This stinks. What's going to be next week? Collect 5 things on Nessus or something like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, they drop something epic like the Whisper of the Worm.
Do the raid by yourself with Thunderlord, and you can get
I want to fight the Thunderlord. I want literally a Cabal to come down dressed as a Thunderlord. We call him, he's Thor.
Well,
Thor is in the game. I guess he's the god of lightning.
They posted on Reddit, the audio files leaked from the Festival of the Lost had MP3s of Amanda Holiday saying we're returning to the Cosmodrome. And we've discussed before where we're speculating it could be a mission that involves us going back to the Cosmodrome, back to that room where the first Destiny trailer hit. I think it was E3, where I think it was Christopher Barrett was one of the characters and this other character, and they got a drop, and it was Thunderlord. That was the first exotic. So that would be a real cheeky, awesome, really cool. As cheeky That's a British word, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, that's good. Everybody understood you.
Okay, that would be a really cool way to bring some nostalgia back from Destiny 1.
Right. Yep. I agree.
Let's see. Moving on past that, some info about Pinnacle Crucible weapons. So it says, while the quest lines for Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten are available year-round, Crucible ranks will reset at the end of Season 4. So each quest contains a quest step to reach a rank milestone, and progress may be lost for these specific steps if you do not reach the requirements prior to the season ending. So it says progress.
This is a big deal. Be
Yeah,
careful for this. Yeah.
Progress for alternate quest steps will not be reset. So if you're in the middle of getting precision kills or completing rumble matches, you will not lose any progress. So if you're within arm's reach for Fabled or Legend, this is your time to make that final push. It says if you don't reach it and you're aiming for by November 27th, you will reset and have to climb the ladder once more. So don't have your own horror story like K-Dub and pay attention to this date, November 27th.
Right.
So does this mean that I have to get my Bad Omens God roll, right? Because Gambit's going to reset. Is Gambit going to reset too? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we
gonna
think
be
it will,
right?
right?
All of your
Right. I got to check where I'm at with Gambit because I know after this tonight I wanted to get on, do some milestones to try to get an exotic, but I just want to go play some Gambit, man.
Yeah. All right, before we move on here to this Activision earnings call, let's talk about our next sponsor, and that's our good buddies Gamer Goo. So you've heard us talk about it before. You gooing it. If you're not familiar with Gamer Goo, it is a antiperspirant for your hands. So when you're playing those very sweaty PvP Crucible matches, or hell, you're even in that raid, or hopefully in that very hard Thunderlord mission to acquire that Thunderlord, put some of this stuff on. Your hands will not sweat. Lasts up for about 4 hours, and they got some great scents. They got cinnamon. They got orange, they got peppermint, and if you want to try it, all you got to do, go to gamergoo.com. You can find a free trial over there, or if you're interested in buying it, use our promo code Guardian, save yourself 10% off your order. You can also, if you are a member of Amazon Prime, you can get it through Amazon now. So just search out GamerGoo over there. You can find it and get free shipping on all the orders for GamerGoo because it is Prime eligible. And again, we highly recommend this. We've been talking about it here on the show now for almost 3 months, I think, Kid. We went to Guardian Con, met the guys at GamerGoo, and we've been using this stuff.
They were in the booth next to us, and this cinnamon scent, man, it's just like Red Hots. If you know the candy Red Hots,
your hands.
I was like,
so
I'm
good,
in 100% because I love Red Hots, man.
I'm starting to equate gaming now with the cinnamon smell. It's crazy.
Right.
Like, I used to always I get up in the morning and I drink my coffee, so it was always like the coffee smell. Now it's cinnamon. Like I just equate gaming with the Red Hot smell now. So again, go to gamergoo.com, use our code Guardian, get yourself 10% off your order today, and you can check it out for free. And if you do try it, we've been telling people this, and we've been getting them on Twitter. Use the hashtag. Be sure to tweet at us and at GamerGoo and use the hashtag.
You're doing it.
You're doing it.
You're doing it.
YAGOONIT. So send that over to us. So again, big thanks to GamerGoo for helping to support this show. All right, guys, let's talk about this Activision earnings call. And this...
What, you mean this is a business?
It is a business. Did you know that? Destiny 2. They make Destiny 2 to be a business, yes, to make some money. So this happened. Okay. The Activision COO, Cody Johnson, was on a call, and here's what he had to say. He was basically talking about Destiny and flat out said it is not performing as well as the company would like. He says, we have not yet seen the full core re-engage in Destiny, which has led to the underperformance against expectations to date. Some players are still in the wait-and-see mode, and if you're in, you're deeply engaged. If not, we think now's the time to bring the players back. He says they're working to accelerate the pace of live operations, innovation, and improve the speed with which they release new content to keep players engaged and to provide new opportunities for monetization. So, when this came out,
Festival of the Cost? What?
Everybody
he also followed up with that they're not dissatisfied with the actual DLC.
No,
it's just
exactly.
It didn't meet their expectations. And in the business world, if you didn't know, folks, they have what's called a forecast, right? And every quarter they have to forecast what they think they'll make per product, right? So
here's what he
said. This doesn't mean that Forsaken wasn't a bad product. It just means that whatever they forecasted it would make X amount of dollars, it didn't meet that, you know?
Yeah, here's exactly what he said. He said, Forsaken is a high-quality expansion of content into the universe. Honestly, it's the highest quality content we've seen in the franchise to date. It really came out of Activision and Bungie working together to address community concerns post-Destiny 2 holistically. Talking to players, we knew it came from users really doing a fundamental review of how to offer a deeper endgame, greater powers and greater rewards, and engage players who seem to be really enjoying the content. So again, it's more on the business side of things. It didn't meet their expectations. So, immediately we saw the community kind of freak out a little bit because people are like, what do you mean it's not meeting expectations? This is the best the game has ever been. And then on top of that, the fear kind of trickles in when you hear him saying, we need to find new ways, new opportunities for monetization. That immediately, brings the thought of pay to win.
Right.
And
so,
all fearful things like that. So
I want to throw one little thing in here. So being from a corporate background, the so-called suits, and I can be a suit at times, the so-called suits, when you make a forecast, you base your forecasts, and I know the old saying is past performance is no indication of future gains or whatever I forget the exact. So they have to, but the only thing that they can go off of is past performance.
Mm-hmm.
So Destiny 1 was so ultimately unbelievably successful
and hyped,
and it's a new IP, and it was just an obsession, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think you're ever going to get to those levels. So I think when Destiny 2 came out, and it was not received as well as they expected, but then when they got it all fixed after the Summit and Forsaken came out, I think that they, as with the forecasting bit, they thought, okay, Forsaken's going to get us back to where we were with D1. And that was an unrealistic.
Totally unrealistic, man.
Totally unrealistic forecast. So as someone that has to send monthly reports and quarterly forecast and semi-annual forecast and annual forecasts, and I do a business plan, I do those things. I do them realistically, and then I do a stretch goal. And there's different things that you do. I think they just unrealistically forecasted where they thought they were going, which is why they're saying we didn't hit the expectations that we had. Yeah. I think their expectations were just a little bit unrealistic. They are saying they weren't unhappy with the product at all. They just said, which instead of saying we forecasted too high, they said it didn't meet expectations.
Right.
Sounds bad. That's all.
Yeah. And then Luke Smith tweeted out, we are not disappointed with Forsaken. We set out to build a game that Destiny players would love, and at Bungie, we love it too. Building Destiny for players who love it is and will remain our focus going forward. That last sentence right there, building Destiny for players who love it is and will be our focus going forward. So that, to me, screams more endgame, more hardcore. Means probably the rest of Forsaken, the next DLCs, the annual pass stuff, the next expansion I'm predicting we're hopefully going to get next September. Destiny 3 is, all those leaks came out. I didn't cover it at all on my channel because I'm not a big fan of leaks and stuff, but they're saying that Destiny 3 is going full-blown MMO, RPG, and all that sort of stuff over on
I think one of the best parts about that, Sean, was, he tweeted that out, but then quite literally, every single Bungie employee that I follow on Twitter retweeted and commented on that, just saying this, we stand by this, yep. So it was like they knew, that the community would be a little nervous, a little just kind of weary seeing this from Activision. So that was very just, comforting, I think, as a Destiny fan, seeing the Bungie folks come out and, especially Luke Smith, who is quiet half the time when it comes to Destiny now, seeing him come out and say, hey, don't worry, Bungie fans or Destiny fans, you're good. We're in a good place.
Right. Yeah.
Couple things though that just kind of stuck out to me, because when this came out, and we've talked about it here on the show, I immediately went to, and I, obviously they're telling us it didn't meet expectations, but I'm like, how low or how little did it sell? I went back to the PlayStation trophies. And if you go back to those trophies now, what do we talk about? People at the Dreaming City was like 5 point something. Right now, before we went on the air, I looked again. 10.3% of people that ever owned Destiny 2 have made it to the Dreaming City. That's not an exact number, obviously, but if you just kind of take that with a grain of salt, that's 10 to 11% of people have made it to the Dreaming City. Most people would assume if you bought Forsaken, you at least completed the campaign which gets you to the Dreaming City, let's say. So
Yeah.
let's say it's not even that. Let's say it's maybe 15%. You have maybe 4% that didn't do it. So only 15% of people that bought Destiny 2, which was a huge success. I mean, they put so much marketing campaign behind Destiny 2. It was the second highest selling game of 2017, I think, right behind Call of Duty World War II. Only 15% of those people bought Forsaken.
Something has to be skewing that number.
So
I don't think that number is accurate.
I think it is, dude. That bought Destiny 2 because hold on, Sean, because you got to look at it. There's really two major factors, Caleb, I think, of people not buying it, and that is the just bridges, unfortunately, that were burned back with Destiny 2 being so casualized, so many people jumping in and giving it, one last go and having the game come out, not meet their expectations. And then on top of that, all the stuff that happened with Curse of Osiris coming out. And around that time, when you think about it, that point was the Battlefront crap was going on. You had the XP throttling that Bungie was doing. So many people, those bridges were burned. They just said, I'm done. I'm not going to come back. And even though Forsaken, you would think is getting positive press.
But if you bought Forsaken, why would you not?
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. So only when you look at that trophy, it's not 15% of people that bought Forsaken. It's 15% because the way the trophies work is here's Destiny 2. Forsaken is just an add-on.
I thought you were saying that bought Forsaken.
No. So if you have everybody in the world that owns Destiny 2 or bought it, only 15% of those people made it to the Dreaming City. So, or I'm sorry, 10.3%. Right. So that means that many people bought it. So yeah, it didn't meet expectations, right? It really didn't.
But is that counting? So that's everyone. Because TimeSplit is saying in chat, aren't we making the assumption that the Forsaken trophies are including the base game players?
Well,
so
the good thing about that TimeSplitter was that number was a hell of a lot lower. Go back like a week or two ago, or not a week, like a month or two ago, when we were talking after Forsaken's launch. 3 weeks into Forsaken, that number was only at like 5.3.
5 something.
So that number's gone up, which is why Destiny 2 is free on PlayStation Plus. It's why it's free on PC, because they're giving the game away for free and getting more people to buy the expansion. So the number has actually gone up. So that assumption, TimeSplitter, is on the fact that the number's gone up, where it was even lower at launch. So that's kind of and then the other elephant in the room, I think that unfortunately Activision, I don't know how much they addressed it in the call. I didn't listen to the call. Is the free-to-play model of other games, more specifically Fortnite. How much is this finally now we're starting to see? Here we are. We're a full year into Fortnite being out there, and my kids and all these kids, and you've had all these major streamers, all these people playing these games. What does now these free-to-play games, what impact are they having on these AAA titles? We're seeing it now. It didn't meet it. Forsaken didn't meet expectations.
You know why it's now a thing? Because of the bottom line. Here we are talking about the earnings call, right? The bottom line is what's going to drive anything to move. It's the reason that Paragon doesn't exist anymore. Because Epic saw the bottom line of, oh my God, we're killing it over here. Let's kill that game, use those resources here because we're growing at an exponential rate. And there's shareholders involved here. When the shareholders get involved and you're having earnings call and you're talking about, earnings and how can we increase earnings, and they're looking at something like Fortnite that's just blowing the world away, absolutely they're going to start looking at other avenues. And when they're talking about other income and revenue streams on that thing, you can be darn sure there's going to be something coming down the road. It's going to be, some way to tweak it to be able to make it more profitable because they have shareholders to answer to. Yep. They have look, Bungie has players to answer to, but the people that are above them have shareholders to answer to. And that's where really the rubber meets the road. So
here's my question. With the likes of games like Fortnite and all that, and this is theoretical, and this is just thrown out there. We've talked a little bit about this on the show before, and people get all upset sometimes when you mention it. How would you guys feel if they're testing the waters of releasing the game for free right now for people? Of course, it's not the full expansion, but if they just said, base game's free, and you either buy expansions like Forsaken and people buy in what they want, or they go the route, and hear me out on it, they do the full-on like $10 a month type expansion, which You could do, or you could pay $100 for a year. You get your annual pass, because essentially we're almost already kind of paying that, right, in the end. But it's like, here's your one lump fee. You get the game, and now you're paying this thing a month. Every month you get $10 worth of silver, so you can also buy an emote if you want, any content we come out. And what that does for Destiny, and the reason why games like Elder Scrolls Online and that still continue to do these fees, is that set income that the companies can look at, and rather than spend a crap ton of money and say, hey, we've spent all this money, here's all the money we're going to spend on advertising, and then they get the returns like just what happened here and said, oh, it didn't meet our expectations, we lost money. Instead, we have 1 million subscribers. This is the money we have. This is what we can make. And then they build around that, and anything on top of that they sell to other people and on top of that income is the gravy coming in. And then it's almost always meeting expectations, because you always know how much you can spend and you always know the amount of money you have coming in. What would you guys think of that if they did that route?
That's too complicated for me, man. I mean, I'm the old school type of player.
I know,
I'm gonna give you my $60. I'm gonna get my, well, it used to be hard copies of a game. It's Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to play my game, and that's it. Even the free to play games.
But the free to play games are all just one thing. You just have one thing to do. You have a PvP thing, and you have one thing. That's it.
No, but look at games like Warframe.
You look at a game like Warframe, dude. It's not, man.
Warframe and M are a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, because look, Fortnite brings in $10 million a day. Okay, buying effing skins, whatever it's at. When I looked at Warframe, which not everyone, a lot of people say that they like. I tried it a few times, and to me, it seemed like, yeah, oh wow, this is free. Okay, it's cool. I'm doing things, and then I go into this menu with a gazillion options on my screen, telling me you could buy this, you could buy this, you could spend $170, but you could, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
But Sean, you know what you missed? You know what you missed? What they don't show you is all you got to do is hit R1 on your tab, and the currency you earned in game, you can also buy it with that.
Right.
So that's the thing. Warframe, like they when you first go in and until you know that, it looks like, oh my god, this is a pay to win game, and it's like, no. Everything you can earn in game and buy everything there. So it's really not, but that's kind of how it pitches it to you, because of course they want you to spend money. The game's free, and you look at what's in that game. I mean, it's constant free updates. It's, every time you do, it's almost like Diablo. They basically have palette sets that you run through. And I think that's the problem right now with the AAA industry, is that you have now all these free-to-play games that so many people now are playing, and that's kind of becoming the norm. So when you have a game come out that's $60, or Forsaken was $40, let's say, because many people got the game for free, it's like, what is that worth to certain people? Like, sometimes now that line is blurred, and it's like, well, if I can play this for free and pay the money for this, I only have money for one or the other. I'd rather play the free-to-play game, and then I don't mind spending the money on microtransactions. Where now
the problem is not enough people. They're still in that wait and see pattern. You know what I mean? If we, as a community, I still have a bunch of friends who I keep telling them, like my good friend, shout out to C Minnow, whatever this and that. He's into Fortnite. He loves Fortnite now. But he and Versace Viper all we did was play Crucible, the three of us together, skirmish every single night. That's all we did. PvP, PvP, PvP. And he got so burnt on Destiny 2's PvP, he hated it. He hated the matchmaking. He hated the balance. He hated the meta. And everything has changed. He bought Forsaken. And he's like, I don't want to have to do PvE stuff, and it's hard. It's a hard sell when you've had something that you liked, you loved it. Now there's a new version of it, you don't like it, but now it's been revamped and either better or as equal to the first one. It's a hard sell, man.
Yeah.
And he's not back into it. He's like, you know what? I've already moved on. So I think a lot of people actually have moved on. The people that were into Destiny 2 and gave it a shot, they love it. You know what I mean? It's a different game. The best DLC they've ever made. So it's partially, as a community, if we don't want microtransactions to come back in a big way, we need to get our friends who have tapped out and tell them, dude, this is the best expansion they've ever made so far. You know what I mean? People who have never played the game, obviously, that's why they're giving it away for free. And if they enjoy the base game itself, oh, that was fun. I like how this feels. Oh, PvP is kind of fun. Tell them about Forsaken. Tell 3 friends. You do the refer a friend program thing.
Yeah.
I think we're all afraid of the whole microtransactions thing coming back and being a prevalent thing in the game.
I don't know about Warframe, because I haven't played Warframe since before Destiny, because that was actually my pre-Destiny game. But as far as the free-to-play model, there's no way that Destiny can ever go to the free-to-play model, because they put too much content into as far as if it's a subscription based, I could see that. But to be a free to play and you're only paying for whatever, it's never going to go that route because you don't have raids and campaigns and different locations and all of this stuff. That's the free to play game. Okay, it's Fortnite. You have
in
one thing.
Warframe, you do, man. That's the thing. You haven't played Warframe in a while, like you do. That's where you see the Warframe people jump to it.
Hold, please. I know. I said I don't know about Warframe, but you can't go tell me that Warframe, as far as, and maybe I'm wrong, okay, but you can't go tell me that the content as far as raids and teaming up and shooting and the how everything works as far as gunplay and all that stuff.
Oh, it's not the same, no.
It's not the same, man. It's just not.
But the problem, though, Caleb, is all for Destiny 2, and this is from the business side of things. So I'm talking as a businessman. Yeah. For Destiny 2 to get to that point, or for Forsaken to get to that point, they lost money on it. So what's the incentive for them to continue to do that? Yeah, sure, the raids are amazing, all this stuff is great, but that's the problem. So they need to find out a way. So it's almost like if you look at it from another angle and say, all right, well, what if they did the Fortnite model where we just push it all out for free and we're going to make more money? It's like these games, we live in a weird state for video games today where you can put stuff out for free and make more money than you would if you charge people for it.
That's like saying Division 2 is coming out, it's going to be free to play. No, man.
No way.
It's the stupidest thing ever. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. And it's just not this. It's just they're two different models.
Yeah.
And I know Warframe is the one that's maybe the weird one in the little bunch.
Well, you know what? It's getting to the point though, Caleb, where it is two different models, and sadly, we're going to start seeing that this model is not making the money that all the other ones are making, and companies are going to have to make that change.
It was in Destiny 1, but then when Destiny 2 came out,
that was 5 years ago,
dude. The really popular streamers came out and crapped on it, and everybody just bailed. And now they're trying to make their way back, and they are. But the forecast needs to be realistic about where it's going. So I think if they do that properly and they have the type of gameplay and the content that we want and the players want, it will get back to where it's realistic and they're making money. And they're making the money. Yeah. And it's not that they're not making money.
Well,
okay?
And see, that's the other thing. Right? That's the other thing you got to think about here. Is that's not necessarily that they're not making money. It's
they're
not
making money.
Hand expectations.
Right.
I work for a big box store, let's put it that way, and sometimes we don't meet our expectations, but the CEO still get those nice little sweet bonuses, and it's like...
We didn't make $1 billion too.
It's like, you know what? We could meet those expectations if you didn't get as much of a bonus this quarter, buddy. I'm sorry. So, yeah. So, hey, we just live in a weird state for video games right now, and I want to, a lot of the things that I'm saying here is a lot from just the business side of things and just kind of stepping back and looking at... I'm just amazed at the industry and how things have changed. And unfortunately, the $60 video game, guys, I hate to break it to everybody out there, that model just is not going to be working anymore. So, I mean, I know people are getting pissed. And hey, we can say, all right, well, we're seeing the backlash of the Fortnite effect. We're also seeing the backlash of the Battlefront / go back to Curse of Osiris XP throttling of gamers really speaking with their wallets, right? Saying, hey, you burned me. I'm not going to buy your next release. And that could be what we're seeing with Forsaken. Sadly for them, it's almost like I was equating this, and I was on another podcast earlier this week, our buddy Abantis, his show Flashpoint. And I said, it's almost like The Last Jedi to Solo with Star Wars. It's like, Solo's the movie you really should have went and saw, Star Wars fans. Like, you would have loved it. But instead, you went and saw Last Jedi, got pissed, and said, I'm never going to go see another Star Wars movie again. And because of that, you know what Disney and Lucasfilm said? All right, well, we're not going to make these Star Wars story movies anymore. And it's like, no, like that.
You see that Disney's coming out with a streaming service, by the way?
Right. Yeah,
I heard Solo sucked, though. Didn't it
Sean,
suck?
it's great. Sean,
great.
Go see it, dude.
No, dude, I'm not touching any of that shit with a 2-foot pole, dude. I mean, 10-foot pole. I'm sorry. Star Wars died in 1980.
Give it a 2-foot, Sean. Give it a 2-foot pole. I think you'll like it.
Look. All right, let's go on. It's basically, Leslie, I almost wish they could give like a sample of or a trial of Forsaken for people to experience, but then you'd have to level up and you got this and that. I don't know. There is no answer.
There is a way that they can get Forsaken. There is a way they can get Forsaken free. One of our sponsors.
That's right. Like this segue. That's right. I think Ryan and the guys over at On Air PC would love that, K-Dub. If you are looking to get into PC gaming and have yourself gaming out on the internet, On Air PC has you covered. So we want to thank them again here for helping sponsor the show. If you're interested in getting live on the internet gaming, all you got to do is call 330-850-1525. Call Ryan and the crew over there at On Air PC. They'll get you on the phone, figure out what game you want to play, how you want to stream it on the internet, whether it's through Twitch, through YouTube, whatever. They'll get you set up. They will build the PC custom for you. So if you're not a PC guy or person and you don't know really the specs of PCs, don't just go out there and buy an expensive PC and think it's the best. They will build this specifically for you. They'll game on it for 24 hours before sending it out to you. They'll get it out to your house, get you back on the phone, get you set up, help you set up OBS, and it will definitely come with a copy of Destiny 2 and Forsaken, so you can immediately start playing and streaming Destiny. Now, hey, Destiny is already going to be free, but they're going to hook you up with that copy of Forsaken. So again, call 330-850-1525 and talk to Ryan. Tell him Guardian Radio sent you. You can find the link in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on the screen. And K-Dub, you've worked with Ryan and those guys too with your son,
Not
right?
only have I worked with them, and he hooked me up with my work computer, but it's supposed to be here tomorrow. My son, AJ, who everybody knows had surgery and all that stuff that was very serious earlier in the year, sent him a birthday present, and we're expecting a PC tomorrow on my doorstep. So they're really, really good people. They will take care of you. They're not trying to sell you and take advantage of you. If you need a computer, call those guys.
Call Ryan. Yep, 330-850-1525. And again, you can find that down in the show notes or over on our website. All right. Well, I think that's it really for the earnings call, guys. I mean, it is what it is. We live in a state now. I mean,
it's a business.
The best part about it was Luke Smith tweeting that out and seeing everybody at Bungie jump on that. I mean, that right there, I was like, you know what? Literally, that was Luke saying like, yeah, we don't care what they're saying. We still have our artistic vision. We're still going to make the game that we want, and we know that you want. What's the problem?
Focus on your strengths and focus on what works. You know what I mean? And obviously, with Forsaken addressed the endgame core player experience that we all love and this and that. And as long as they keep focusing on that and just do what they do best, I have no worries about the whole 10-year plan or the future for Destiny 2. I think it's only going to get better. But I do think with Call of Duty and with Destiny going to this annual pass thing, I think that's this new model all these companies are trying out now is you buy the game and then you buy an annual pass. So no more paid DLCs because Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has an annual pass too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's the new model that they're testing out. Will it work? I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. All right, let's move on here to our clan spotlight, part of the show where we spotlight a clan here on the show. So if you're looking for a clan, here is one for you. And if you want to have your clan spotlighted, you can find it in our show notes or over at our website, theguardiansofdestiny.com. So, K-Dub, who do you got this week, man?
We got a PS4 clan. I did an Xbox one last week, so we're going to do a PS4 clan, and it is Shadow Rogue Elite. I'm trying to help some smaller clans. So we've been, I've done some larger ones recently. This is a smaller clan looking to grow, and it's a PS4 side. It says, we are looking to build a community that is full of active players that can experience the Destiny universe together, whether that be going sweaty, grinding it out, or just chilling out and discussing lore. We are most likely to recruit you if you're active and good at the game, but something extremely important to us is active members. We started the clan at the beginning of D2, but have many D1 vets. If you don't have a clan where people can help with whatever you need, including raids, then consider joining us. We pride ourselves on being really good at the game, but still stopping to take some time to help people who need it without being jerks about it. We have all been there once. So we do a lot of Raid Sherpa runs and guided games. Right now we have 17 active members, and I'm emphasizing active. They make sure it's kind of a thing that they emphasize on. And growing. Players should be active 2 or 3 days a week minimum. The founder is active every day after school/work hours, and most of the clan is on every single day at some point with few exceptions. If you have a specific schedule, we understand. Just talk to us and we'll make sure that you're going to meet the kind of activity requirements that they want, because they want everybody to be active because they're trying to build this community. The contact is socialdanger007@gmail. And also, I think it's the same PSN, socialdanger007.
Nice.
So I don't know if that's a problem with child. No, never mind. So just being silly. Social Danger 007 at Gmail is the contact, and on PSN. If you're looking for an active clan that's looking to help people and be really good at the game, hook them, help them grow on the PS4 side.
Yep, there you go. All right, well, let's move on here to the last part of the show, our email segment where we get you involved, that we call Messages from the City. Don't forget you can email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com, just like Roofied Ninja did, and that doesn't really sound like he'd be much of a ninja if he's roofied. He says, "Hey Guardians, over the course of the Destiny timeline, we have learned so much about the universe. To me, I've always felt that in D1 we were introduced to the light, and that the light was the true and right way of the quote-unquote good guys. As the story of Destiny has evolved, I feel like this affiliation is constantly being challenged. That the typical association of light being good and darkness being bad is slowly being revealed to not be true. With the last expansion, we find ourselves with little to no support from our mentors and find support in the dark abyss of the reef. We learn that sword logic is not a hive-only ability and are introduced to a new way of thinking of humanity, Mara and her followers. So to get to the question, how would you feel if in D3 we are presented with a choice of choosing to affiliate ourselves with the tower and light as we know it, or side with Mara and the darkness? Depending on your affiliation would dictate your super abilities, aka dark supers. While I know Mara isn't the darkness, I am sure some lore guy would put this thought in the dirt. Just thought it'd be an interesting twist of events, but at the same time, the way I've interrupted Destiny's story, it seems to constantly challenge that way, or interpreted Destiny's story, seems to constantly challenge what we know and we believe about the light. Thanks, Guardians. David, aka Roofie Ninja. He's a PC exo hunter.
Yeah, it's a really good thought, and we've been talking about this a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and there's been some leaks out here and there talking about light and dark, and I think it is something that we eventually will get to, is a light and a dark guardian. It would be brilliant. It's just something that would bring so much more depth to the game. We talked about Division and how there's, when we go into the dark zone and the DZ and you can attack each other and open world areas with people that can encounter you. I think it's something that's going to eventually happen in Destiny. Yes, it's a brilliant idea. What he's talking about here is, how is that going to come about? What's that going to look like? Do you need to go to Marasov? Do you need to go to somewhere? Where do you need to go to be a dark guardian? Where do you need to go to make your allegiance to the light? That'd be a cool little light versus dark thing that I would love to see. And I think eventually, at some point in time, I think this will happen.
I think that's one of the coolest things about World of Warcraft is, you're either the Alliance or the Horde. Like, that's just a very neat dynamic, I think, and that essentially is what that would be. I mean, could you imagine if the darkness shows up and Mara sides with them? And that's kind of how, like, right now he's saying she's not necessarily dark, but that's what it is. That these pyramid ships show up, they side with her, and then you have a choice. What are you going to do? Do you go with her? And maybe even that's where, like, Eris shows up again. Somehow Eris comes in and maybe kind of plays a part in that to some extent.
Well, if she's the leader of the darkness, I'm telling you right now, I am not going dark side. Because I can't handle it. And we know the actress that does it. She's great. But I can't take that voice over and over. I would no, I can't do it.
No, but if they did a Dark Guardian, come on, like 90% of the community would choose Dark Guardian,
all over
but if they did something, listen, it's no secret, I loved the Division, you know what I mean? And the Dark Zone was my favorite part of running into another agent, not knowing if they were going to be cool or not, you know what I mean? So if a Destiny 3 or some
you always try the wave from way far away.
Yep, do the wave and then
they shoot your hand off.
You know what I mean? But to have something where you could choose to be a good guy or bad guy, or it's a state of the universe where everyone's a mercenary. You know what I mean? Like, future war cults on this destination, Dead Orbit is over here, Mnemonic is here, the Vanguard is somewhere else, because it's a free-for-all. You know what I mean? No one has an allegiance to anyone. You have your own home base that you would set up or something, and you could decide, do I want to be an ass to some people today, or do I want to go in? Oh, this guy's dropped an exotic for me. I got Galahorn Destiny 3 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Here's the interesting thing, Sean, that I want to ask you. So let's say that you chose the dark side, right? And there was Dark Guardians. Mm-hmm. Is there a dark tower? Are there dark vendors? Like, is there a dark shacks on the other side?
It'd be in the reef. I think you'd have to go to the or wherever it is.
There has to be is there a dark vanguard then? Like,
Yep.
how does that whole thing work? You know what I mean?
They could either do it like that, where it's like there's dark vendors in a whole dark area, and then some for the light. But I'm thinking more of like chaos has ensued. Everyone has broken
Is it
up.
Varix is a dark vendor on the other side? Like, what is it?
No. What I'm thinking is that, look, it's like the universe is in turmoil. Everyone has just split up, right? So you are yourself. You're by yourself, right? You set up camp on some destination or something. So you could choose to wield powers from the darkness or from the light, And then those different factions or Vanguard or something like that, maybe they could utilize both. Maybe they have a need for a light guardian here, or maybe one faction or one Vanguard or whatever doesn't talk to anyone that's light or dark or whatever. Or that could lead into the Crucible. One team is all Dark Guardians, one team is all the light
for
guys.
sure. That's got to be a game mode.
There's
That's
a lot
absolutely a game mode.
Great email.
Dark versus light is absolutely a game mode. Done.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dark Zone to me was the most unique PvP experience in any game that I've ever played before. And if Destiny 3, if they went down that road and had a PvEVP type of experience where you don't know what's going on, or if people want to be cool or not, or because
awesome.
I mean, so many nights. I mean, shout out to Mugwam. You guys know him. We used to play with him all the time. Him and his Scottish brogue. But man, hearing him scream, or we would go in and just start causing chaos in the DZ, going on manhunts, was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
the funny thing is, so I mean, Bungie already did red versus blue. Why not dark versus light?
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Come on, let's do this.
Love the idea. And David's in chat too. So David, thank you for that email, man.
Oh, David, there he is.
Let's see. This last one here comes to us from Priolizer. And he says, hey guys, here's the question I promised you. I really enjoyed episode 271 with the Bungie Gambit designers. Love to hear that developer insight. So if you haven't listened to that, guys, go back. Listen to episode 271. We had two of the designers, Cooley and Robbie, were on the show to talk about Gambit. But he says, I also hear in several episodes how much you enjoy a good MOBA. That's right, Caleb and I were Paragon Radio. We love MOBAs. What if we crossed that style of game with Gambit and each player picked a specific role at the beginning of the game while you were on the Drifter ship before the match starts? One player selects an invader role with some buffs, and one player gets bonus damage to kill adds, but you can't pick up motes. Another player gets a sprint boost and is designated mote depositor, and the fourth role gets bonus damage against envoys, primeval, and invaders. These are just random thoughts off the top of my head, so may not be really good. Balancing options. I could envision this being an option to fit the need for a solo queue playlist that Mesa specifically asked for, but wouldn't be an actual separate playlist and not lose the population. Each guardian can pick their role at the start, regardless if you go in solo or in a 4-stack. Just give enough time before starting the match to adjust loadouts, classes, etc. Do you think a crossover between Gambit and a MOBA-style role selection could ever work? Thanks, Pyrolizer.
Absolutely.
100%. You guys are the MOBA guys. They take.
Well, I 100% agree with this, and it would absolutely. So, the thing is, I think it would need to have, like, whatever role you pick, you do get some sort of bonus for that role.
Yes.
Whether it be
that's how you
killing ads, or whether it be killing invaders, whether it be whatever picking up motes, you're faster. Right, to pick up motes, whatever the case is.
That's you incentivize people to play their role, basically.
Role, right. Now, so you would typically probably want a hunter to be your guy that's picking up motes, and he gets a speed bonus. He's even faster. It's something like that. But it's absolutely, and definitely for the solo queue, that'd be great because then everybody knows their role.
Yep.
I think it's
well, that's like when you log in.
Well, I was going to say real quick, Sean, like what he's saying here, it's not necessarily like, I saw somebody in the chat says, please no to MOBA Gambit. Like, he's not necessarily describing MOBA Gambit. It's more like, let's play Gambit and give us the option to pick a role. And I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. Now, the only issue is when you do pick a role, it then comes down to us or people admitting that there are 4 specific roles in Gambit. Now, every team plays a little bit different. There's strategies in Gambit from I've seen all kinds of different strategies that teams employ, teams that are working consistently, as a solid team. So sometimes I think the roles may not play out. But if they did make a playlist, or at least maybe throw out and give it a shot to try this, it'll make at least come up with what is a a consistent way to play to some extent. And then, of course, obviously teams can kind of branch out from there. But if we can add buffs, which I think really that's where the MOBA side would come in and say, hey, if you're the guy that grabs the moats, that's your job. You can pick them up quicker and maybe move a little bit faster when you're carrying moats. Right. So then it just makes everybody play that role, and then it would kind of become like a static match.
Maybe you have an overshield versus invaders or something because you're carrying all the moats, right?
Yeah.
Something. There's so many cool things they could do with that.
I love the idea because, I mean, like when you play Black Ops 4 multiplayer, right when you log in, you have to pick and choose real quickly. Do you want to do Ruin? Do you want to do
Ajax?
What's the Ajax? The one that I like to do in the dog guy all the time. I love the dog.
My son plays him all the time.
So it's like you have a quick moment. I think on like long certain game modes you can have 2 of each, and the 5v5s you can only have 1 of each. So I love this idea. To his comment about me, I've reversed myself on the solo thing. I love solo Gambit right now.
You've made it a challenge.
It's you know what it is. It's knowing your role. You know what I mean? Like whenever I save gameplays and I put them on my hard drives and stuff. The best games, some of them, I'm barely collecting any motes because if I'm seeing that they're pushing nonstop, killing all the ads or whatever, I'm sitting back just killing all the blockers as soon as they come in, and I'm tethering the heck out of anything, you know. Or if they're all running to the next set of ads, I'll purposely put myself right near where the bank is, shoot my tether across the map, tether everything, and plop all those orbs right in the middle so they can all have their supers back, you know. So to me, it's been a lot of fun playing Gambit solo.
Yeah. But I like that. I think anything to add a little more MOBA to the game mode is great. I think, you know, I've talked about it here on the show before, and even I think in EBD and that I've been corrupted by the MOBA. Like there's something about just that style of competition. It literally boils down to like a game of chess. It's like the ultimate.
It gives you more of a
chess, man.
It gives you a strategy. It gives you a clear. This is what I need to do in this game instead of just go shoot somebody in the face. It gives you a role. Yeah. It gives you it goes deeper than just, you know, we
shoot
always
the dudes in the face.
Right. It's a PTFO. It gives you another objective to help your team win, and it'd be a lot of fun.
And I think you know, this would definitely, something like this would even help people get better, because then they would kind of realize what their role in this match is, rather than everybody just running all over the place.
Because not everybody's great at shooting
and
somebody in the face. Yeah. They're just not. Yeah. But they might be great at running around and picking up motes. They may be great at, you know, killing ads. They may be great at whatever. You know, just gives more people more things to do. You know, I think it's great.
I like it, Pyrolyzer. So thanks, man, for sending that in.
Great idea, man.
If you want to email the show, feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com. You can email us and have your voice heard here on the show. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for this week. I mean, we gotta assume, right, that very soon we're gonna be getting some sort of Black Armory drop, right? Either this week or next week, or I mean, it's gotta be coming.
It's the 12th, and if I'm predicting December 4th, based on when someone said that an Xbox exclusive, a PSN exclusive becomes available on Xbox. This is how they predicted Curse of Osiris. Cold Hard was not available until the date Curse of Osiris dropped. So there's something out there that PSN has that's a 6-month or whatever, 4-month exclusive. So more than likely,
the Borealis wasn't that the PlayStation exclusive sniper?
Yeah, well,
that
the first
and the Strike. What was the Strike too? Is that the same thing?
Well, we have Inside Terminus. I think is the new one, right? For Forsaken. Or is that do we have that already? No, that was Warmind we got with, right?
I don't know. Whatever those PlayStation exclusives are, that's when it all kind of.
Well, let's assume Armory's coming on the 12/4. We all kind of agreed that's probably the date. 12/4. Tomorrow's 11/13. That would give us. That's 3 weeks out.
Maybe the TWAB this Thursday they'll do a full reveal.
Maybe
in the TWAB.
There's also a stream coming.
I was going to say the stream is the 19th, the Last Wish raid. Maybe a week after that, the 26th, right? Then that would give us the Armory deep dive stream, and then it comes out the following week.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
I think we're going to start hearing some news soon. Yep.
But all right, guys. Well, everybody, thank you here for tuning in. Don't forget, check out our website, theguardiansofdestiny.com. You can email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com. Follow us on Twitter at Guardians of D. And of course, big thanks to everybody over on YouTube watching the show live, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. Thank you guys for tuning in over there. We go live. I think next week might be a late show, so possibly 10 p.m. rather than 9:30. But of course, if you can't be there live, you can catch the video live on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. And you can find all the links down in the show notes. to the podcast. So with that, everybody, thank you here as always for making us part of your week. However you're tuning in, whether it's through iTunes, through Podbean, your podcast service of choice, or through YouTube. Thank you so much. And with that, we'll catch you next week. Later.
I have to do my Yoda stuff.
That was a long one, man. 116.
Yeah, well, because we were talking about the Activision earnings call,
man, fuck.
which good debate on it, guys. You know what I mean?
It's just I don't know, man. This industry, it just boggles my mind nowadays. And part of it is because
the funny thing is the companies themselves don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't, man.
Nobody knows what the fuck to do. They're trying to figure out how do we make more money? How do we do our shareholders? What do we follow Fortnite? Do we do the thing? Like, what do we do? What the fuck do we do? They're not gamers. They're fucking executives.
You know exactly. The problem is I'm so deep into like the Fortnite fever in my house because my kids are big into it. And
now, are they bugging you to buy skins and like?
Always, Sean. Always.
Okay, gotcha.
Like my son, he got for Halloween. Like my mother-in-law gave him $5, and my mom gave them $5.
Yeah.
We knew the NFL skins are coming out. Like, gotta buy the NFL skins. Gotta buy the NFL skins. 7:00 every night now. It used to be 8:00. Time changed. 7:00 now. The store resets every night. 7:00. He's on there. What is happening? And then the worst part is the next day, I bring my kids to school every day, as well as some friends of ours' kids who are the same age. The whole conversation on the way to school is, did you see the new skin? Yes. Did you see this? What's the new skin? And it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And I just can't get away from it. So it's always just like nonstop, man. Ugh. But it blows my mind, Sean, because this is their norm now. So it's like, you know, we're talking about the future of games, and all these games are going to come back for $60. Here's a whole generation of gamers now. I mean, I even look at just in general, like my son. He goes on his iPad, downloads 2 or 3 new games a day because games are free. You know, in younger gamers' eyes nowadays, games are just free. And I mean, for better or for worse, that's the world we live in now. And you even have, even look at things like Game Pass that Xbox has coming out. You pay, what is it, $10 a month? There's a shit ton of games for you to play. And every Microsoft game that comes out is free now. So imagine if every PlayStation game,
it's the same thing with the music industry.
God of War, exactly. Everything's just fucking free.
Does anyone buy music anymore? Does anyone actually use iTunes to pay 99 cents? No, they rip it from YouTube where they can get a high quality MP3.
I had this conversation.
Or just listen to Pandora, dude. Like,
you guys will appreciate this. I had this conversation the other day with Janine. So I remember when I'm going to date myself a little bit here. 5150 Van Halen came out. That's Van Halen, right? Yeah. Came out, and I bought that.
We talked about it on EBD. This was on EBD.
Yeah, we did. It was on EBD. Yeah. I bought that, took it home, and listened and memorized the entire freaking track so that the next day at school, I knew everything and every word to that song. That shit doesn't happen anymore.
No.
That doesn't happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, I think the new business model right now is buy base game, give an annual pass. But those are for the games that involve, well, no, I can't say campaign because, look, you know, I spoke to someone at somewhere and they said the campaigns are the most expensive things to make.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I'm guessing
that's why this is never going to be a free to play game.
Yeah. So that's why I think Destiny.
But Caleb, what's all the DLC we're getting now? No campaign. Right?
Well, the DLC isn't, but when the launch comes out of the new thing.
No, they said no cinematic type cutscenes.
True.
There's got to be some sort of story involved in what we're doing within the Black Armory. Why are we doing this new raid lair? Who will we be fighting? I'm sure it's not going to be.
So what I'm saying is, you know, and you know, I think we're always going to still have that set price to come out, but it's like, yeah, if they just discount whatever that base price to buy in is, and then you buy that annual pass, and then the shit just keeps coming, you know, like, I don't know, man, it's just weird. But hey, we're all on board, and like I said, for me, I take comfort in the fact that the team at Bungie doesn't seem to be giving a shit about what Activision.
No, Bungie knows that they're making a quality product. They're going to Activision. Look, it's your job to promote and advertise and sell this shit. We're making a hell of a game because they have brought the community in to make what the community wants. They have done that.
Yeah.
They've succeeded with Forsaken. Everything in Forsaken has been amazing, and there's nobody that's correctly saying that no, this sucks. Screw you if you think so, because it's gone from the here to here. So no, they've gotten it back to where okay, the public loves our game again. Now, is everybody that was in D1 that was crazy about it back here? No, not yet. But if we continue on this same track, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But
That's what I said before. If they just keep doing what they're doing with Warmind into Forsaken and with Forsaken into hopefully it's Black Armory, we're going to be just fine. I'm not worried about the future for Destiny 2.
For Black Armory, dude. I'm so excited about Black Armory.
Yeah, I know. I want my heavy machine guns back, and I want to use them in PvP.
I can't wait for
I want to use them again.
There's the whole thing about it, about the different. It's not, factions is the wrong word, but the makers of these different weapons and how you're going to get to it, and it's I just can't wait, dude. It's going to be so ridiculous.
I'm looking at the 2 pictures right now, so let me read this off. So all right, so Season of the Forge, this is free for everybody. Heavy machine guns return, new weapons, new Crucible content, Iron Banner, gameplay updates, seasonal ranks, and we are getting the Dawning event. Then the actual DLC. Black Armory, annual pass content. Discover weapons of light and fury. Add the Black Armory treasure to your legend. Access to the Black Armory. New Forges of the Chain activity. That's probably, we have PvE type something. New raid lair, new exotics, new legendaries, new triumphs and collections, bonus rewards. So they can't just say, here's the Black Armory, go get some new stuff. They're somehow going to work some sort of story of why do we have a Black Armory? Why is it here? What are we doing? Why are we grinding these types of things? So we'll see how it,
Sean, can you see this?
The New York Seltzer.
You remember those, bro?
Yeah. Yep.
Huh?
I buy the generic cheap seltzers from
the one thing too.
ShopRite.
Those
are good though.
The one thing that wasn't mentioned at all tonight, I keep mistaking because I was on that other podcast earlier this week. That I brought up on that show was you have the Diablo stuff that happened, the Diablo Immortal, right? And so everybody's looking at that like, oh my god, that's terrible. The company that is making that game in conjunction with Blizzard is NetEase. Where have we heard that name before? NetEase. They invested $100 million into Bungie.
Yes.
So people were kind of, or I've been kind of thinking like, ooh, that makes me a little bit worried. But the thing is, dude, is if NetEase comes in and they put out an app that is, I don't think it's going to be like a Destiny app. It could have something to do with Matter, right? The trademarking of Matter, whatever it is. Right. Any money they make from that will all just funnel back into helping Bungie make a better Destiny, So it's like, people don't need to be upset over that.
Or another scenario is, what if this NetEase company is using the relationship with Bungie to parlay a relationship with Activision and say, hey, we don't have Destiny in this region, which is China, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's no Destiny here.
But NetEase is all mobile, though.
Right. No, but I'm saying, but the thing is, what if they parlayed it somehow to get Destiny in a region of the country with billions of people? Now, all of a sudden, the player population goes like this, you know what I mean? And more people are buying copies of it. I mean, are they into that type of game? Like I said, that region of the world, maybe they're more into the mobile type games, and this particular company focuses on that. But I don't know.
Sean, I mean,
it's a win-win either way.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing with the Diablo thing, is it was like, hey, they kind of came out and said, we're now going to be able to get our games in the hands of people that maybe never heard of Diablo, and they may play the game and say, hey, it's a cool game. Let me check out the PC game. Same thing can happen here. If they put out some sort of Destiny thing on the phones. But of course, people will lose their minds if they do that, and I don't know. But we'll see.
All right, guys.
But yeah, we got to kill the stream here, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Chat, everybody.
Thanks for hanging out late, everybody.
Thanks for all the channel members. You guys are awesome.
Yep,
for sure.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Love
guys.
you.